What is going on, everybody? As you can tell, when there's this many people on a show, there's usually something special going on. And, well, it's football week. It's official. Thursday, we welcome the NFL back into our lives. That long-lost cousin or brother, we welcome them back until at least February. So we're chilling. Obviously, you know me by now. Anthony, hosting as always. We'll pass it around. CJ, I'll start with you. We'll pass it around. Everybody will introduce each other. See what's good. What's going on?
What's going on, man? Glad to be back. Talking football with the guys. Yeah, man. It's happy. It's football season. It's a great time. Great time for sports.
100%. I'll take it right here. I'm Perry, guys, co-founder of Unwrap Sports. I'm not on camera too much nowadays, so I'm happy to be doing it again. So I'm glad to be here with all the boys. NFL kickoff show. Thank you for everyone tuning in. Really appreciate it, guys. You can find me at Perry Aston, first and last name on Twitter. Follow the rest of the gang. Go at Unwrap Sports, Twitter, Instagram. You can go follow us on YouTube, subscribe there. Check us out on Facebook. Wherever you're at, we're at. So check us out.
That's right. And you got me, Mascara, a.k.a. Wise Cheese. Always a guest here on the Hard Count. Always a pleasure to be on here to talk football. Twitter handle is at Matt_Skura. Check out my Instagram at Matt_Skura20. I have a link in both of those bios to my sports podcast. Me and my great friend Caleb Conant do called MCS Real Sports Podcast. We have an episode that we're going to be recording coming up soon, so tune in on that. And it'll be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it. It's available everywhere. And as always, Anthony and CJ, always a pleasure to be on the Hard Count, to be talking football with the boys. I'll then leave it over to the Philly man himself, Ben Hoyt, to discuss what he's got going on.
Thank you so much. So my Twitter is at BenHoyt6. I got 3 podcasts now. It's the most I've ever had. I'm going to be a busy man this football season. So we have the Liberty 4 Philly podcast. Check that out. Curse of Philly Penn, the best Philly sports podcast. Those are the 2. And then I got a new show with Wise Cheese, Matt Skura. We will be doing prime time with Hoyt and Wise Cheese. More details coming out about it soon, but it'll be Sunday night. So stay tuned.
All right. My @ is at Ethan_Curry on Twitter. I also have 3 podcasts. I have NFL Deep Dive, another NFL show on the network. I have Saturday Stand as a college football show, and I have Creating Madness, which is probably my favorite show, which is the best college basketball show on the internet.
All right. There's your intros, people. You guys know what it is by now. Oh, yeah, we got Mark in the chat already. The GOAT, there's only one, and I'm here, so you're right. Ethan looking so dumb right now. Ben looking dumb as hell right now. See? always the love.
John firing shots already. Surprising. Great.
As you can tell, it's always love here. Clearly, but you know what? We're going to jump into it, and of course, we're going to talk week 1. We're going to talk about everything, but let's get into some news first. So, we'll get into some news first. And CJ, you always come up with our nice rundowns, and I didn't even see this, but apparently Mr. Amari Cooper thinks he's the best wide receiver in the NFL, but hasn't shown it. Now, I don't even know what the hell that actually means. That doesn't make any type of sense. But CJ, what's your reaction to this? Oh, CJ, you muted my guy.
He's obviously confident in his abilities. One of the best route runners in the NFL. I'll give him that. My guy Nick Cavs. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, bro?
All right. Yeah, so Amari Cooper, I don't know, man. I guess he's confident, get ready for the season. Probably hearing a lot of talk about CeeDee Lamb, probably usurping him as being wide receiver 1. Facts.
Mid at best, honestly.
As he speaks from his mint green room.
Yeah, so I think Cooper, he's definitely one of the best. I don't know about the best in the NFL, but I think he's just confident. I think he's confident going into the season. Obviously, back's healthy. So that's going to play a key factor into his stats and his production this year. And I think he's going to have a big year, and they're going to need him. has some questions, especially on some pivotal road games throughout his time since being a Cowboy, not stepping up at certain times. So that's a big year for him, especially if they want to win that division and get a playoff berth. So I understand his confidence, but I wouldn't put him at number one. Maybe
Sure.
top 8.
I mean, I'll take over on this one. I really do always have thought he's a top 10 wide receiver. So if you don't, I know me and Connie have gone back and forth about this a couple times, and he landed on top 15, which I'll take. That's fine. But top 10, and there's no doubt to me, if you don't have the attitude that you're the best at what you do, why are you doing that? Like, if you don't think at whatever you're doing, football, if you were at a store as an associate, whatever, at least that's how I was raised. That's how I've raised myself too, with that attitude. If you don't think you're the best, who's going to think you're the best? If you don't have that confidence, who's going to? Obviously, it's your production is going to speak for itself. He's as consistent as they come. He hasn't been in top 3, so clearly he hasn't shown that in regards to production. But, I mean, to have that alpha kind of mentality, to have that type of confidence, if you don't, I don't want you as my wide receiver 1 on my team. I want you to think you're the best. Even, and me as a restaurant, GM, regional manager, I think I'm the best in the world. Do I got stuff to learn? Of course. But if I don't think like that, then who's going to have that confidence in me?
Now, CJ, I need some clarification here because it says, he says he's the best wide receiver in the NFL, but hasn't shown it. Now, did you write the hasn't shown it part, or is that the actual quote?
No, he said, as he has specifically showed that he's the best, he said not yet. Like, it doesn't feel like
that's top 5 dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm just how are you going to say you're the best, but yet you haven't shown it? Listen, I was never good at math, but that's not really adding up to me. But Cheese, go ahead.
Yeah, I just look at it and see what Amari Cooper is saying. I'm looking at him like, what? Why are you even talking? Like, name me something, if we're being honest here, that you've done in your career. You ain't done shit, if we're being quite honest here. Like, you look at your time with the Raiders, you were pretty much basic. Like, you weren't anything special. You had maybe 1 or 2 good seasons. You get traded mid-season to Dallas. Yeah, you helped Dallas go to the playoffs and win a playoff game, but really, you haven't really done anything else since then.
I'm just shook that 1,000 yards in every single season that you've ever played in your entire career, except for your last year on the Raiders where you played the least games of your career. I'm just shocked how that's doing nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and it's also for
I just don't know, because that, to me, that looks like a top 10 wide receiver number as consistent as they come.
It does look like a top 10. It does look like a top 10 receiver. But I just feel like for the most part, he can't say he's the best receiver in the NFL when he hasn't been putting up best receiver type numbers. Yeah, he's put up top 10 numbers, but he hasn't elevated the Dallas Cowboys to a championship contending team. Like, when you're the best receiver in the NFL, you can help lead your team to contention, kind of like what Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill and DeAndre Hopkins, when he was in Houston, that's what they were doing. They helped elevate their teams to contention status. Amari Cooper really hasn't done that. Granted, he was on some bad teams in Oakland. And then the Dallas Cowboys, we know who they are. As Stephen A. Smith says, what can go wrong will go wrong. But I just think there also might be a point to where he might not even be the best receiver on the team. Like, a lot of people have a lot of high praise for CeeDee Lamb. Now, I won't give CeeDee Lamb the top receiver yet, just because we have to see him be consistent. Like Perry mentioned, Amari Cooper, almost every year besides his final year in Oakland, he's had over 1,000 yards. So he's shown consistency from that matter. But I just simply think, I don't think he should be really saying that if he really, through all the top 100 players, they haven't even recognized him as the best receiver in the NFL. So I don't know why he's talking
the argument, and Corey's right. Argument is he the best wide receiver in the league? I will say he's top 10. I can't say he's the best wide receiver in the league. I'm a Cowboys fan. I don't think any of us can as well. But I think we all make a good point. I think he's got to have that mentality, or you're going to be mediocre the rest of your career. You don't strive to be number one. You don't think you're number one. You'll never be a number one. Plain and simple.
I will say I do love the energy, though. I do love the energy of saying he is the best. Well, if you're the best, back it up. Be fantasy receiver number 1, Amari Cooper. If you're gonna talk like this, I better see 150 to 200 yards on that Bucs defense come Thursday, because if you don't put up those stats, don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. Yeah, good luck with that.
But they say he's the best receiver. He's the best receiver.
Right.
Go out there and prove it.
He says he's the best receiver. No one else does.
I mean, what is he supposed to say, though? I'm bad? No, you're supposed to be the best receiver.
You can say you're one of the better receivers, not the best.
Exactly.
That's not alpha, though. That's a beta mentality. Like, to have an alpha mentality doesn't mean his production's shown that he's the number one receiver in the world. But we're all going to say right now to have a mentality to say, I'm one of the best. Like, that's beta as hell.
Do I think he's the best?
He's not even an alpha.
I'm an alpha mentality. Hey, you gotta have an alpha mentality. But you say I'm one of the best, then I'm with you right there. Then you're definitely not alpha. You just baited in public. But right now, at least got to keep that face, keep that confidence, keep that head.
He's got to keep the confidence. Like, what is he supposed to say? Like, I'm mediocre? And I mean, I think he's a good receiver. Do I think he's the best? No, not necessarily. But you have to say that. I think whatever I do, I think I'm better to the person to my left and the better person to my right. And that's my way of self-confidence. And I think Amari...
Ethan and I said you guys both suck. Crazy.
But I really think he needs to have that confidence going into the season, really pep up the fan base. I think this is a good thing for Amari Cooper to say. But I think, again, what Matt Score had to say is he's got to back it up. He's got to put up the stats. But I love the confidence and I love the swagger from Amari.
Mm-hmm.
If Amari Cooper's a top 10 receiver, then that makes Allen Robinson top 5 if we're going off of those stats. I'm sorry.
Well, Allen Robinson's top 10 also.
He is, but I'm sorry. Just
not also, but
underrated.
He's top 10 as well.
If you put both of these guys in the same category, it's kind of laughable because Amari Cooper hasn't done much in his career. 1,000 yards is the number one receiver as expected. If you're
my thing is do you think Amari Cooper has already reached his ceiling as a wide receiver? Like, can he produce better going forward than he has for the Raiders? Like,
it's to be seen. And it's funny because Amari keeps getting this hate, Ethan. Like Amari he's had 5,000 yard receiving seasons so far, and Allen Robinson's had 3. So like I'm just so confused where you guys have this misconceived hate of the production that's right in front of you when you just look up his numbers. Like, you know what I mean? Like you say it's expected. You're saying Allen Robinson would be top 5 if you're looking at those numbers, when that's just simply not true. I love Allen Robinson. I'm not here to give hate to Allen Robinson. He's top 10 receiver in my opinion as well, because he's had the worst luck with quarterbacks in the entire history of receivers. He's never had a good quarterback his entire career. But I mean, if we're talking, they're pretty identical, especially if you're looking at the last couple of years. But I mean, if we're looking at track record of performance, like consistent as they come.
Michael, I would really sit here and name plenty of people, but I just don't know if we have time.
Oh, we all could. Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, come on. I can name at least 8 off the top of my head, and then you can start getting into arguments, but, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, people, and Christian, your comment, what will be worse, the Cowboys or Patriots actually fantasy teams. I'm probably going to go with the Cowboys.
I just love living rent-free in Christian's head. It's like fully furnished, penthouse. Like I got a pool table up there, a surround sound. Like rent-free is nice living up in Christian's head.
Christian,
hey, Perry, living out in LA, one last thing for the Amari Cooper. Who's better, Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper?
I view them very similarly as well. Pretty similarly, to be honest. Pretty back-to-back. Him, Allen Robinson, and all 3 of them are pretty right there with me.
So that's tough.
I think Keenan Allen has the advantage in route running, but I mean the production's there for both of them. Like they're both top
100%, completely.
I just can't say Amari Cooper is a solidified number 1 receiver in the league. Like that's and
I feel like that's fair. That's totally fair.
I completely agree with you. Like he has to have that mentality, especially going into this year. Like
100%. I totally agree.
Ball out. Everyone wants to see him ball out. So.
100%.
Yeah, mid at best.
I don't know if whatever else I got.
A little bit, but you're all right, Nick. Don't worry, you're good. But we'll move on because who wants to talk about any Cowboy? We'll go over to the comments of Rob Ninkovich, and this is where it gets interesting. Me and Josh had a nice argument back and forth about this yesterday, and it's an entertaining thing to say the least. Rob Ninkovich came out and said that Mac Jones was teaching Cam Newton the offense. Usually you would hope it's your second year in the offense and, the other person's a rookie that they would be teaching the rookie the offense. But no, Rob Ninkovich said that there's people inside the Patriots that were saying Mac Jones was teaching Cam the offense during training camp. Now, listen, I can totally believe this. I mean, first of all, you guys know how I feel on Cam Newton. Garbage. So, I mean, it's not that difficult to imagine that Mac was trying to help Cam out. It's surprising because, like I said, second year in the offense, now you got the training camp. Like you should have been way ahead there, but I guess not. CJ, my fellow Patriot fan, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it probably just speaks to probably one of the reasons why it ultimately got released. Do I believe it fully? Maybe. I mean, we already know that last year they had a different type of play style for Cam. It wasn't the traditional playbook that the Patriots usually run with Josh McDaniels. Bill Belichick, they want that pocket passer guy standing in the pocket and dice you up down the field and create drives. With Cam was a little different. Obviously running the football, using his legs more. That's why he had 12. Or he had more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns last year. So they wanted to run the ball, use his legs, be more of a red zone threat with his ability to still be physical. But for Mac, from everything I've heard and everything I've read, he's a great worker. Ever since rookie camp, spring camp, he's been putting the work in, learning the playbook. So that's definitely been one of the pros of his one of the great traits, which one of the reasons why the Patriots drafted him. It's because of his work ethic. So it could be possible. Could very well be possible. Obviously Cam has accomplished a lot in the NFL. But it's a different scheme. It's a different type of scheme in New England. A lot of people have said that it's very difficult to learn. The playbook is very difficult to learn. So I think it's possible, but I don't think it was the right time for Ninkovich to say it. Cam already got cut. It's already set in stone that Mac is QB1. Yeah, throwing salt on the wound. I don't think it was necessary. I don't think it was really that necessary.
Love it.
I mean, it was obvious that Mac outperformed him in the preseason and obviously in practice as well. To the point where Bill and Josh trusted him to be the guy and the rest of the team. So for him to say that was a little. I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't necessary. I feel like he was trying to get a little bit of clout over the situation.
Kind of like throw him under the bus a little bit.
Yeah, I just feel like it wasn't necessary. Like it was, a lot of people thought Mac was going to start when Cam was still there, and so it was just like, it was just weird to me, but I get it, which is why it's not been seen.
Yeah. I mean, it's a business, so I'm not going to say it hurt Cam's feelings or that throughout his entire career that this one comment towards the tail end is going to matter much to him. But regardless, I think it's a bit classless as well. I mean, he got cut, he got beat. He's had an illustrious career, regardless of, your opinion on him as a pure thrower or how long he's able to sustain his, good play. But regardless, I feel like it's a business. I'm not going to get too caught up on these statements, but at the same time, I kind of agree with you. I just feel like let him kind of ride off. He lost. Let him take his pride and walk out with dignity. You know what I mean?
I mean, added pressure on Mac for that, Josh. I don't know. Because I feel like he was going to have pressure anyway. And does it really add pressure saying that the system? Like, you're supposed to just know the system. So I don't know if it's added pressure, but it's it might be a little something. I wouldn't say added pressure though. I think it's just he knows the system better than Cam apparently. That's something to look at. I don't think it's pressure. If anything, I feel like it's good. So
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of 100% agree as well. I also want to say before I make some points, Perry Christian was saying that he's been giving you rent to shine his fantasy trophies. What do you have to say about that?
I'm living in his head, just rent free. So that's it. That's it. He thinks about me more than his girl, and I think that might be the issue with their relationship.
Ooh,
because I'm numero uno.
Damn, Christian, I can't wait to see what you come back with in the comment section.
Because I'm priority number one.
With that being stated, though, with Rob Ninkovich's comments saying that Mac Jones was teaching Cam Newton the playbook, I think it's very interesting. I mean, coming from a standpoint of Cam, I mean, his first year in New England, it was a COVID season, so there really wasn't a lot of training camp. He looked good his first 3 games. Then he got COVID itself, missed a lot of time. And then by the time he came back, he just wasn't the same player. I feel like it's kind of hard to say that, you know, Mac Jones was teaching Cam Newton the playbook when he, in a way, almost kind of had the same, like, ample opportunity to learn it. And I just simply think, like you guys have mentioned, like, I don't think it was unnecessary for Ninkovich to say it. I think that's just rubbing salt on the wound. Like, I mean, the guy just recently got cut. I mean, you saw it, like CJ mentioned, in the preseason, Mac Jones just – it seemed to have outplayed Cam Newton. Like you saw in preseason, it seemed like the Patriots offense was just flowing better with Mac Jones. Just and even like the throws too. Like you see Cam Newton throw, and sometimes it looked ugly. Like it didn't look like the way how he threw it. It almost looked like Phillip Rivers sidearm esh. Like it did not look good. It didn't look pretty. But when Mac Jones was in there, the ball looked prettier. It seemed like Mac Jones hit the deep ball better because, if we're being quite honest here, Cam Newton kind of has a limit. Like, you don't really see Cam Newton sling the deep ball unless if it's 2015 Cam Newton. But this ain't 2015 Cam Newton. This is 2021 Cam Newton. And I just simply think Mac Jones earned it. You know, he earned the starting QB1 spot. And I just simply think it came to a point to where Bill Belichick simply went up to Cam Newton and just said, look, man, Mac Jones is going to be our QB1. Do you want to be a backup or do you want to get released? And I feel like Cam just went up to him and said, look, man, I just simply don't want to be a backup. If you have to release me, release me. And, you know, that's that.
I mean, part of me is kind of confused why a quarterback who's been there for a year would forget the whole playbook and have a rookie teaching him. That sort of seems confusing to me. And as seasoned of a quarterback as Cam Newton is, I don't find this story 100% believable. Maybe he may have gotten some pointers here and there, but on Rob Ninkovich's end, like I honestly wouldn't care. I mean, because look, Mac Jones beat someone out for the job. Okay, it's in the past. Why do you have to put salt on the wound for it by saying that a seasoned veteran forgot a playbook? I don't think anyone. Like I just don't think anyone cares though, because it's in the past. Like no, he did not need to really put that salt in the wound. I mean, I think Bill Belichick really is putting faith in his rookie. I think he says, all right, this guy's better than Cam. And like Matt Score said, do you want to be a backup or do you want to get released? And Cam made a veteran quarterback decision and got released. He'll either get a job, backup job somewhere else, or he'll retire. And that's that. I don't think it was really needed to report that. Just my opinion.
And Josh, for your comment, don't you worry. We're going to be getting into this. So stick around. We'll give our predictions on the playoffs and everything like that. But Ethan, continue.
Yeah, I for sure agree that it was the veteran move of his, but whether it was needed or not, I think he provided enough entertainment that I think we all are happy with what happened with it, if we're being honest. Dinkovich, I feel like, just wanted to put that out there because being the player he is, being the veteran Patriots, one of the top 20 Patriot of all time, I feel like Connie, CJ, give or take, top 20, top 30.
He was up there. I like him.
His team succeed, and given the fact that Cam couldn't help lead a team to success, making Bill look bad, he wanted to kind of shift the blame away from Bill. At least that's what I'm seeing. Is as of right now, a lot of people in the media are saying Brady carried Bill, and Bill's looking pathetic.
Of course, you're gonna say that, man. I mean, that's all they say. They've been saying it for 20-something years. It's one or the other. So
I thought it was Bill carried Brady, though.
You said that one more time?
Was it Bill that carried Brady or Brady that carried Bill? Because
I've always been on the Brady side.
It flips depending on what happens in the year.
I mean, I think they needed each other. Why don't we just meet in the middle?
That's it.
Well, they did. Well, they clearly didn't. Brady went out one.
Oh yeah, because Bill's the only one that can win a championship even with Tom. Like obviously, Tom's the greatest quarterback of all time. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the best quarterback of all time, placing himself into a baller roster like that, and give him a chance of winning the first year out, than having the guy have to find a way to sustain the blow of losing the greatest quarterback of all time and figuring out what to do that season. That's like not even close in regards to situational football. So I
what
mean,
happens if Bill doesn't win a Super
I'll give
Bowl?
Bill another 5 more years. And if he doesn't win at that point, then you can come back with the argument of I view it like that. The 1 year that Brady was able to place himself in the best physical situation possible, you got to give the Patriots 3 to 5 years to clean that up in the same kind of impact, in my opinion.
3 to 5. That's a while.
Yeah,
Nick,
I agree.
Hold
Yeah, I'll finish up.
We're good.
Nick, my God.
Yeah, Nick, you
Oh, it's
go.
on me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
I mean, honestly, and I remember saying this last season when we was doing the podcast together. I honestly never thought Cam Newton was a good fit in New England system. Like, I really thought that he was their best liable bet for that season as like a bridge quarterback kind of scenario.
Yeah,
Just to
definitely.
get them, just to get them through the season, see what Cam can do in this system. I mean, I guess he did his best. I don't know, but he didn't do good enough because Mac Jones obviously beat him out. And
I mean, it'll take us to the
unvaccinated.
It'll take us to the unvaccinated thing and all that as well. Like, I know, like, for PR purposes, they have to say that had nothing to do with the decision. And Urban Meyer fucked that up with the Jaguars. He said it, and then the Jaguars had to go back and put out a PR statement to say that's not what happened, because it's technically you're not allowed to do that. But if we're going to say right now that you want your starting quarterback to be unvaccinated, and because it's no longer like, am I going to lose my quarterback for this week? We have we can be compromising a win this season. We can completely take a loss because somebody decided not to follow the protocols and things like that. So in my opinion, it's like, is it just Cam losing the job to Mac, or was it him not being there for weeks, also being unvaccinated, also being at the tail end of his career? That's everything. That you asked to be cut. If you're a Cam, you just asked to be cut because you're not good enough to be held on that pedestal of like a Kirk Cousins, where if he's not going to get vaccinated, what's their next best option? Kellen Mond? Like, I don't think so. Like, they're going to go with him no matter what. But it's a different situation. If we're going to say that being unvaccinated doesn't go into the decision right now, I think we're being a little naive.
I mean, if you think about it too, I feel like Cam was good for last year. Not literally good because he was terrible. But
Straight dog water.
Listen, you're not going to get any arguments out of me. I'm not Josh. But last year he was more needed in that offense because they didn't have any weapons. So Cam became one of them with his ability to run and everything. But now you look at it, that's not the quarterback they need anymore. Like, they don't need a mobile quarterback once again. Like, obviously they went with Brady, and yes, Brady's the greatest of all time, and you can't compare a lot of people to him. But somebody like Mac works now because, I mean, CJ, you know the vibes now. We got 4 running backs. We got Aguilar. We got Hunter Henry, Johnny Smith. The offense has been revamped. We're going to start passing again. We're going to start running, playing off the run into the play action. Last year you couldn't do that because we had. Listen, I love me some Jacoby Myers, but I mean, on a real team, he's probably a third wide receiver. So they don't need the bull of Cam now. They need someone who's going to sit in the pocket, be accurate, not lose them games, and I think that's what Mr. Mac 10's coming out here to do.
Is that transitioning us into your Patriots predictions? Do we have another point or two to add?
Oh no, we got one more point, and I'm gonna start. We're gonna go counterclockwise this time. Le'Veon Bell, baby, he's on the Ravens now. They've had some injuries. J.K. Dobbins went down. They had another running back. I can't remember his name at the moment.
Justice Hill.
Yeah, Justice Hill went down with, I believe it was an Achilles. Both, I want to say.
I think he got an Achilles. J.K. got what?
J.K. was the ACL. So they got 2 running backs down. Obviously, Gus Edwards, fantasy steal at the moment, is their number 1 running back right now. But they need a little depth in that position, so they go out, work out. Le'Veon Bell, they end up signing him. Ethan, what are your expectations for Le'Veon Bell? What do you think about the signing in general?
I like the signing, but he'll be the 3rd or 4th leading rusher on that team.
You're not wrong.
I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting cut by the end of the year. This is Le'Veon Bell. He hasn't been good since he was a Steeler. I like the signing for depth because before that they had, 2 running backs on the roster? 3 if you include Lamar Jackson. They need something. Lamar's going to get his 1,000 yards rushing. He'll keep getting hit, and he'll be out of the league in 7 years, whatever. Gus Edwards will get close to 1,000, if not hit it. And Le'Veon Bell is just going to be a name to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, Ian. You pretty much hit it right on the spot. Le'Veon Bell is basically in just for a depth piece. This isn't the same Le'Veon Bell where he would be behind the line of scrimmage and he'd just be like this. Side, side, side. All right, I'll go. I feel like what changed Le'Veon Bell was when he decided to hold out for a year and then decide with all of that, I'm going to take $52 million and go to the Jets. Not the Giants. He could have gone to any other New York team. But he decided, I'm going to be a smart man. I'm going to go to the Jets with Adam Gase. And that is not.
I don't think Adam Gase was the coach yet when he signed.
He was.
No, he was.
He was.
He was.
They both
No, I
came
know
in
he
first
was
year.
the coach during the time, but I feel like they signed him and then hired Gase.
Right. They signed him. Right.
But
Like they signed him before Gase was hired.
Yes, I think so.
That might have been the case. Yeah.
Because then Gase came in and was like, we shouldn't have given a running back that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Le'Veon Bell, in a way, pulled a flexible burst and shot himself in the foot on that one. I mean, that's just you sit out for a year because the Steelers gave you $70 million, but only $10 million was guaranteed. So you wanted guaranteed money, and you decide with your guaranteed money to go to the Jets. Not really a smart decision there. And then on top of that, you don't perform well. You literally went from one of the best running backs in football, and in a span of 2 years, go to one of the worst, and pretty much is going to be out of the league soon. And it's pretty much anywhere he goes, he's just going to be a third or fourth running back. Granted, I feel like this is a move the Ravens had to make, especially when you lose J.K. Dobbins and you lose another running back in the process with the Achilles injury. Le'Veon Bell is your best option because you're probably going to run with Gus Edwards. You'll probably go with Williams as your second guy and have Le'Veon Bell as your third. But do we think Le'Veon Bell is going to make a big impact? I think it's going to be no. I mean, you'll probably see him in for a little bit, maybe in for like the passing game, because a lot of people forget Le'Veon Bell, he was a good pass-catching back. So you'll probably see him in that role. But overall, it's not really going to be a lot. It's not going to be a big role that Le'Veon Bell is going to play in. And I feel like, in all honesty, for the people that are listening, you'll probably hear him maybe drop better rap music, and even that's saying something compared to his running game in Baltimore.
What's going on, Josh? Welcome to the show, bud.
Josh, what's going on, brother?
Hello.
So,
I had to pull over. I started hearing y'all talk about
That's perfect timing.
Lamar Jackson, the Ravens. So I had to pull over.
Perfect timing. So, what are your thoughts on Le'Veon Bell signing with the Ravens?
So I heard the first couple of comments that no chance. They're just adding him for depth, which is true. This is a depth signing. I will say first, I think the biggest loser in this signing is Todd Gurley. The fact that the Ravens went with Le'Veon over Todd Gurley says a lot about where Todd Gurley's at in his position. But I think Le'Veon Bell ended up in the best spot that he could to still have an impact in the NFL. If there's a team that Le'Veon Bell is going to succeed with, it is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, you have Gus Edwards and Tyson Williams, but Tyson Williams is still pretty unproven. Gus Edwards still is unproven, having the workload of an RB1. So I think that you're going to see a great opportunity for Le'Veon Bell start to open up midway through the season. And I don't know that he's going to be great. Still to be seen. He wasn't terrible whenever he got the opportunities with the Chiefs, but I don't think. Obviously, he's not going to be the Le'Veon Bell that he was in 2017. That's just not going to happen. But do I think that he has a chance to make a little bit of noise and, one game get 12 carries for 70 yards? Sure. Maybe even a couple of tutties.
I agree. I think it's Nick, and then I'll go.
And, I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to – and just to finish, at the end of the day, he's still going to get a Super Bowl ring, so –
Oh, now this.
Oh, stop it.
Now
no way you're getting past the Chiefs or the Bills. Stop it.
Thank you.
The Chiefs got to worry
Thanks
about
for
the
saying it for
Browns.
me.
JVP, baby. They're renaming the title. Josh
3
Allen,
points in
not
a
even
playoff
played.
game last year. Remember that?
Nick, go ahead. What'd you think
Hey,
about Le'Veon Bell?
I mean, at the end of the day, he got signed. He's got signed to the practice squad. So I mean, there's really not too many high expectations, other than I feel like he could definitely get some snaps on offense. Like I feel like him playing alongside Lamar, I feel like they could definitely work him into the offense. Some snaps on some plays. Just like both you guys mentioned. I mean, he lost all explosiveness. I mean, he's been injured a handful of times being with the Jets. I mean, we all could agree he hasn't been the same since he left the Steelers. Like that's just obvious. And but like I said, I mean, he could definitely be worked into like some passing situations, some out the backfield situations, because I feel like he does still have that catching ability coming out the backfield. But rushing wise, I mean, he's pretty much done for. I mean, you're not getting any meaningful yards with him, really. I don't think, other than those passing situations where he's running out the backfield, running routes. So yeah, I don't have high expectations for him for the Ravens, but he can squeeze into the offense and be somewhat productive when he's asked. I guess he's not going to get many opportunities, I don't think, but if he makes useful opportunities with what's given to him, I think he could add something to the offense.
And you all were talking about it a little bit. I think it's absolutely crazy to see the fall of Le'Veon Bell and Todd Gurley, because I mean they're both so young. They have not played too long in the league, maybe 7 years, maybe 8 years. Obviously, the shelf life for a running back is less than other positions, but I just feel like the cliff that they fell off is just absolutely crazy. We don't really take the second to really look at that sometimes because, I mean, look at a Frank Gore, for example. He's never been a superstar in his whole career. You can make the argument, he's definitely a Pro Bowler for multiple seasons. He was a all-star level player, but I mean, look how long he's sustained his career. He's still taking runs at 38, 39. Like he's so old. And then you got Lev Bell and Todd Gurley who are just still sub 30 and are fighting for jobs right now. Like you guys mentioned, Todd Gurley, he's the biggest loser in this one for sure. And this signing is absolutely shocking from a production standpoint. From a fit, you guys have a point there because Gus Edwards is more of a true runner than a receiving back. Granted, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. Tyson Williams will be interesting to see how they get him in there as well. But in the end of the day, you are going to see Lev Bell in pass catching situations. You are going to see him in really interesting formats and interesting situations. And they're going to find a way to get him with the ball in his hands in the open field sometimes. It's not going to be anything crazy, but you're right. It's a depth move. But just from like a stat standpoint, I mean, in 2019, Lev Bell, he's still like, this is the season after when, he held out. He started with the Jets, still put up 245 rushes, 800 yards on the ground. He still caught, a good amount of yards. Scrimmage yards, he had 1,250, still double-digit touchdowns. Like, it's crazy to see how just this last season, he's dead. It's no longer there. So, I'm kind of with Josh that I don't think he has absolutely nothing in the tank. I don't think it's just write him off. But fair play, he thought he was good at rapping. Yeah, I mean,
Alex, I blame your downfall.
I think it's some karma.
You're good at pick-up basketball. I'm just saying.
Alex plays like a football player. He uses his body well.
Alex says that he averages like 30. And I refuse to believe that because I think he's playing 2K when he says it. But, it's a different story.
Definitely. But, yeah, I definitely think Lev Bell is an interesting signing. I think they should have signed Gurley from a production standpoint. It just wouldn't make sense behind another true runner in Gus Edwards. So, Lev Bell to the moon, I guess.
That arthritis and Gurley kicking ass.
But, I mean, Gurley put up fucking 9 touchdowns last year. Like, he went from 10 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns, 17 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns. He has had such a productive – if you look at him compared to other running backs, that's unreal numbers to start a career. And he's just dead. Can't sign anywhere.
Yeah, because that knee –
mind-blowing.
And you got a 70-year-old knee and a 25-year-old body.
It's just crazy to think about. I'm not saying that, that's absolutely the reason. It's just mind-blowing. Because especially like Lev Bell last year, his production – absolutely laughable. Laughable. You look at Gurley, this is decent. This is not bad. So, 700 yards on the ground and 9 touchdowns in his 15 games. It's not like, that's something.
No, Alex, we can sit here and do this all night, but I got a show to do, and you have to go be toxic. So, it's we're on different wavelengths right now. You feel me? CJ, wrap it up with the Le'Veon Bell talk so we can get into some arguments because I like getting mad at people.
I think it was an interesting pick for sure. If this is any place for him to have like a second act in his career, this is the best place because they're a run-heavy team. Lamar is a running threat, so he's not necessarily going to have to be accounted for all the time. Like everybody said, Gus Edwards really hasn't had that RB1 role. So going with a veteran like Le'Veon Bell, I think it's a big move. Greg Roman likes to run the football. Look at his time in New York. You look at his time in Kansas City. Kansas City don't really like to run the football. You know that they got Mahomes. They have so many dynamic guys on the offense from a wide receiver and pass catching position. They don't run the football. The Jets' offensive line is putrid, terrible. It's a bad decision for him to go there, but he went for the money, and so we'll see. The Ravens' offensive line has been stout. They've been top 3 in rush attempts. It seems like for forever now. So it's a big opportunity for him to still try to feel like he could be productive in the NFL. Like you guys said, in the pass catching aspect, I think is huge because there's still a lot of questions to be answered with the Ravens pass catchers. You look at Bateman, got hurt with the groin injury. Sammy Watkins, can he be a wide receiver 1 after his time in Kansas City? He was supposed to be that in Buffalo. Now he's on his 3rd team now, so we'll see if he could be productive. Mark Andrews just got the bag, so he's probably going to be that number 1 guy for Lamar Jackson. So I think it's a big move. It's a big move for me. We'll see how motivated he is. We'll see if he's in shape, and he can really capitalize on this. He knows the AFC North better than anybody. He played in Pittsburgh. He's seen the Browns. He's seen the Bengals for multiple years. So.
I completely agree. It's absolutely.
I think he'll probably get picked up too. Him and Devontae Freeman was another guy that was.
I was going to say Freeman can't get a job either.
Oh, isn't he on the Saints now?
Oh, he got picked up by the Saints?
I think he's on the Saints, or he was for a sec.
That's good. That's what's up. That's because I know Latavius Murray just got cut. So
there's some more news for all of you.
All right, cool. Yeah. All right. So that's again.
Devonta Freeman's on the Saints, and he sustained, I think. But let's see. Oh no, they released it. So he was signed by the Saints. He got released by the Saints this offseason again, and then worked out for the Ravens in that Le'Veon Bell with him and Elijah Holyfield, and Lev Bell was the one that got the job out of the 3 of them.
Okay.
Devontae Freeman killed us in the Super Bowl.
Still he did for the first half.
How he fell off too is also mind blowing. It's crazy.
Well, listen,
it's really crazy. Like literally not that long ago, like Le'Veon Bell and Ty Gurley were like top
The
5
best
in the
running
league.
backs
that was
top of the
McCaffrey
top.
and Henry.
It literally felt like it was
crazy.
just yesterday. Like it's crazy.
It was only a few years ago. It's crazy.
Exactly.
That was McCaffrey and Henry.
Let's get into some predictions, baby.
Oh, before we do that, we're going to argue because everybody likes a list, people. And this is the Week 1 power rankings, as you can see on the screen right here, 1 through 32. Now, listen, there's some easy things here. The Bucs at number 1, easy. Come on, defending Super Bowl champions, they bring back all 22. Texans at 32. We all know that they're terrible, but you start getting into some things. Listen, I don't know, and this is because I don't like the quarterback. There's no way. I'm telling you right now, there's not a chance in the almighty heavens above. The Saints are the 9th best team in the league, bro.
Yeah, that's utter atrociousness.
That is.
I agree.
You lost me there.
Yeah, that's
You lost
crazy.
me like Amelia Earhart.
I would probably switch this. I'd probably switch the Seahawks with them if I'm being honest.
I'd put the Saints below 15.
I would too.
I'd switch them with the Seahawks in my opinion. Sean Payton's a hell of a coach.
I mean, you could even
Washington?
argue the Titans to swap them out. Like
I
the
agree.
Titans are not even in the top 10, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, Seahawks and Titans right back to back. I'm cool with both of them entering that top 10 if I'm being honest with you.
I'll give you a hint. Washington better than Pittsburgh too. Just
Because
saying.
because no hate on the Patriots at all there either, but like I feel like 10 is a little bit.
Oh no,
It's a little bit high. I mean, I'm not saying to tank them down, but I
That's the
would
right
like
spot.
I like where the Saints and the Patriots are. I would literally flip Seahawks and Titans, and that's probably my main thing. And at the end of the day, that's just apples and oranges. It's a few spots, but
Patriots also better than the Chargers.
Just in my opinion.
Just saying. Better than the
Yeah,
Chargers.
I don't know about it. I mean,
Very
I like
debatable.
the Chargers. Chargers there too are a team we can debate for sure as well.
I feel like for the Chargers, it's going to be very hit or miss. The Chargers' history has shown the Chargers going to pull the Chargers, and they can find a way to mess it up. But then again, this is a Chargers team to where they're set up for success. They built their O-line in the offseason, which was the problem last year. They built it up to success. They have
Can Brandon
they have
Staley
a-
coach is really the only question. And Anthony Lynn legitimately was losing games for them. They were the worst team within 3 points in the history of NFL ever. So, I mean, if you came within a touchdown, they were losing that game. So that if you flip those games, they're double-digit wins every single season, no problem in the playoffs. So now it's, do you have a more competent coach when it counts, considering also you're healthy again and Herbert has a year under his belt? If Staley can coach a lick, then they're going to be a playoff team, no doubt.
I also don't know how I feel about the Rams at 5, by the way.
Here's what I will say on that. I feel like they got the top 10 correct. I mean, not top 10, top 5 correct. The Bucks at 1 makes sense. Chiefs at 2 makes sense. Bills at 3 makes sense. Obviously, my Packers at 4, that makes the most sense. And then the Rams for number 5, I feel like it's definitely a toss-up. I could see why Connie says why have the Rams at 5. I feel like the reason why the Rams are at 5 is just for the simple fact that you got Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey on defense, and you got a guy in Matthew Stafford who, in my opinion, this is going to be a real chance to prove his career, because a lot of people are giving him a pass saying, "Oh, he's been on the Detroit Lions. What more can he do?"
I mean, you have to look at it like if Goff could take him to a Super Bowl 3 years ago with a defense that I wouldn't say as good as this defense and 3 years less experience for McVay as a coach. If we don't think that they're going to make the playoffs at the very least this year, I think that's foolish. No matter how good. And top 5 has to be like pretty warranted at that. Well, that's not like outlandish if I put it in context of what they did 3 years ago and coming off the season they just did. I don't think they've lost one less than 10 games in the last like 4 or 5 years. So
I will say one thing in the power rankings that I was very shocked with is I was shocked with them putting the Arizona Cardinals at number 25. I thought for sure with the offseason,
that's some hate.
With the offseason, the Cardinals have bringing in J.J. Watt, even though he is slightly washed. Same thing with A.J. Green, slightly washed. But you look at the rest of the team that they had last year, they won 8 games. Kyler Murray seems to only get better. I felt like for sure they would at least bare minimum be in the top 20.
I think Broncos at 23 is a little high as well.
Bengals are better than the Eagles and Jags too, by the way.
Honestly, like Arizona should be above every team that
Broncos.
They're like the Panthers, the Broncos, the Giants, the Raiders, the Bears. I feel like they should be right below the Colts, in my opinion.
I can see that.
I'm honestly with you on that. So you can debate me with like Bears, and that's depending on what their quarterback situation is, because I really like Monty and I think they have a good defense. Even Raiders are a little sneaky, but they had a really weird offseason. But yeah, I can agree with you. Honestly, right behind Colts seems pretty comfortable for the Broncos. It's a weird list.
Yeah,
hey Connie, I got a question.
What's good?
How far are the Patriots going to drop week 1 when they lose to Miami?
Well, you see, there's 2 things.
I love it.
Wrong. There's 2 things you've gotten wrong. 1, them dropping, and 2, them losing to the Dolphins. I mean, come on, Josh.
Ain't no way they're losing to Tua turn the ball over.
Do we know what Bill Belichick
like Tua this year?
How far are they dropping?
Do we know what Bill Belichick does to first and second year quarterbacks, bro? Who are the Ravens playing?
I'm hoping Mac Jones can live up to it. Who are the
Ravens playing week 1?
I'm hoping he can live up to it. 'Cause, I mean, that's a tough defense. Down there in Miami, they made some moves.
Miami slept on hard. Miami's one of the most slept on teams in the league.
I'm not even sleeping. I'm hibernating, actually.
And Connie,
that's crazy.
To answer your question, Connie, the Ravens do play the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas.
So that's the only reason Josh can talk.
Week 1 win.
He's got a cakewalk week 1.
Week 1 win.
You better
Yeah,
you
but
better
the
beat
thing
you
is,
better
the
beat the
Patriots don't have
Raiders.
any cakewalks.
Oh, they do.
The
They
Patriots
just have
don't have
plenty of
any
cakewalk.
cakewalk.
Listen, they played the Cowboys this year, cakewalk.
Get
They
out
play the
of
Jets
here, bro.
twice.
That's the
They
like
play
you.
the
You're
Jets
too big for
twice.
your bridges, my friend. Like I'm not about to say the Cowboys going to crush any team, but I think you're just a little too high on the Pats.
I don't know about that, Perry. The Pats
The
looking
Pats-
very
the
good.
Pats
have
Don't
10.
be
The Pats
Hey,
look good.
the
The Pats
Pats-
look pretty good. Is
don't
what they
be
look
shocked
like.
if the Pats win 12 games. You heard it here first.
Wow,
Don't be shocked if they win 12 games.
that's imagine, bro. I mean, as Connie would say, imagine.
I don't got to imagine. Reality is right
Fucking
in front of us.
imagine, bro. 10 games, you're lucky.
Do we not realize
my
that they
Knicks.
literally got all of their
10
games
games, and you
defense
should be
back?
happy. 10
They
games,
got
and you
their
should be
entire
happy.
defense back. See,
You
Alex,
all-
thank you. I forgot about that stat. I guess how Bill was really good against the best of young quarterbacks.
Isn't
Exactly.
his only loss to like Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, he lost to
throughout-
Lamar,
throughout
and,
his-
they lost to
Lost to
Josh.
Tua.
They lost to Josh Allen last year. They didn't lose to Tua.
Didn't Tua win
Yeah.
last year? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they lost to Tua last year. Yeah,
Exactly.
in Miami.
Yeah, because I kicked him out of the
Oh, it's in
playoffs.
Miami. Doesn't even count.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Let's
that is true. You could pretty much almost guarantee a loss for
let's
New
do
England
some
when it's in Miami.
predictions. Predictions.
All right,
Let's get right into it, baby.
Well, we got award predictions, or we going conference.
I'm predicting anything right now. Throw it at me.
All right. Well, we'll go with our award predictions.
Yeah, the
Alex,
Bills might have
Alex,
something to
that's
say
energy.
about that.
Alex, that's energy.
The Bills
All right.
will have something to say about that.
What
We're
the
gonna
last
start-
guy said.
We're starting with our awards for the year, and we'll start it off with an award that I think everybody might agree on here: the comeback player of the year. Cheese, we'll start with you on this.
I feel like the comeback player of the year, if he stays healthy, he's obviously going to be a no-brainer. I feel like it's going to be Joe Burrow. I feel like I feel like Joe Burrow, as long as he stays healthy with Cincinnati, the way how he looked last year before injury, he looked like he was going to have the Bengals be a consistent team, 5 to 6 wins. Granted, I don't have the Bengals doing good. I have them stinking up the joint just because I don't believe in the Bengals. I feel like them taking Jamar Chase was the worst decision that they've ever made. Granted, they made a lot of bad ones.
But young
too
Butterfingers over there.
It's too early. It's too early.
Exactly.
Bro, he
But-
dropped hospital passes.
He did drop hospital passes. You
did it on purpose.
could put Connie's Nan on the Bengals, and she might have a better chance of catching
Yeah,
football than Jamar Chase at the moment, if we're being quite honest here. And that's saying something. And it's just
He's a
for
bull.
the Bengals, you needed to draft O-line, and you failed on that. But for Joe Burrow's sake, I feel like he's going to stay healthy. I feel like he has the best chance to win comeback player of the year. And if he leads the Bengals to 6 wins, I feel like he easily earns that comeback player of the year, especially with that gruesome knee injury that he suffered in Washington. I wouldn't be shocked if they gave it to Joe Burrow. I like to hear what other players you guys mentioned.
But let's go with Perry because I already know he has a different answer.
I mean, obviously it's Dak Prescott. I mean, I'm not. That's a good second choice. Like I'm not. That's actually a good one. I wasn't thinking of Burrow too much, but I mean, Burrow did play 10 games last season, so it's not like he went down week 5. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I think that's you saw more of Burrow last season. You saw the impact that it had on the Cowboys as well. So, in my opinion, it's Dak Prescott. I think Burrow's a good one too. Definitely a good option that you threw out there for sure. But yeah, at least with Dak, I mean, the way he went down too was also very emotional. And
Did you cry?
I didn't cry, but I was shocked. Like, I literally turned white. I don't even think I had an emotion in my body. Yeah, I just completely was shook. So, but yeah, in the end of the day, I think it's Dak. I think Burrow's a good choice too. Both went down with gruesome injuries, but I think there's a lot more pressure on the expectations for Dak and the Cowboys. Like you kind of mentioned, the Bengals are not a playoff team this year. They just got to continue taking steps forward. So I think Dak's got a lot more pressure on him. If they don't make the playoffs, that's obviously not going to bode well in the comeback player of the year awards. And then you can look at Burrow taking a team from 4 wins or something to 7 or something. But I think at the end of the day, as long as the Cowboys put up 9 or 10 wins, that's a pretty easy lock for Dak Prescott.
Let's go with Nick.
I'm gonna go with Saquon Barkley as my.
I love it. We got 3
okay.
different answers so far. That's awesome. I love that.
And I
Yeah,
thought
I mean-
this was all going to go in one direction.
I
I'm
really
pleasantly
like it. I really like that.
I mean, I feel like the Giants are still going to be a real run-heavy team. Just Daniel Jones being completely unproven still. I don't know if you really want to completely rely on his arm to win you games. And Saquon, I mean, it was a bad injury to come back from, but I feel like Saquon is he's just built differently than most running backs. Like, he's just a freak of nature. I feel like he's really gonna come back strong this year, and I'm gonna even say he's gonna be the league leading rusher.
Okay.
Okay.
That's crazy.
We're doing
Nice.
hot takes too at the
Nice.
same
Big hot
time.
take right there.
This is energy. CJ, continue the energy.
I'll keep it going. I'll say OBJ.
We got a fourth. I'm so
Oh,
excited
yeah.
right now. Oh my god, this is so cool.
I think.
Tell me, you all have a different answer. I need 6 different answers.
Looking at the Browns last year, going 11-5, they made a big stretch when he was gone, when he was hurt, and that's been the big narrative around Cleveland ever since he got there. Baker plays better without OBJ, so if he could come in there, make a big impact, push the ball, be a guy that can push the ball down the field, make some big time plays like he did when he was with the Giants, and get those guys to the playoffs again.
Saquon, baby.
For sure. If he could do that again, I mean, that'll be perfect for them. You see they kind of missed that against the Chiefs in that play in the divisional round game. They missed that guy that could get the home run play. Landry's good. He's kind of like, he gets singles and doubles. He's not really a guy to get the home run play. So I think a guy like OBJ, if he's back, he's healthy. He's been nicked up the last 2-3 years or so. Him and Baker seem to have a good relationship. So if they could hit the ground running on the field, I think he could have a big season as well.
All right, Josh, are you going to keep it going or what?
Well, I really don't. I feel like I have to at this point, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with Carson Wentz.
Oh. Yo, you know what? I thought you were gonna pick somebody else, so I was gonna pick once, but now I got
Come
another
on,
person.
Connie, you got to dig deep.
Well,
All right.
I wanted to pick one that was already picked, but I was like, if I gotta go with the new one, I gotta go Carson Wentz. He's back with the old coach. Great chance as long as he can stay healthy. I mean, Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell. I mean, JT, Nyheim Hines, Marlon Mack. I mean, you've got offense and a good offensive line. So, I mean, he's in one of the best positions to make a run for it. I feel like the expectations are a little bit lower for him to receive the award than they are for Dak to receive the award.
You know what? I like to thank all of you for giving me one of the best options on the board. I felt like this player fell to me in a fantasy draft. Give me Mr. CMC Dino Mike.
I love it. Yeah, great job, boys.
Listen, Mr. McCaffrey coming back. He played in those 3 games, by the way, those 3 games last year. Absolutely an animal in all 3 of them. But coming back from an injury, we all know that CMC is the Panthers' offense. He's the whole entire damn team. I don't think Sam Darnold's really going to change anything because, well, I'm not a Sam Darnold guy. But, CMC's coming back with a casual 1,600 rushing yards and a casual probably 800, 900 receiving yards. Just saying.
That's like MVP. So that's like MVP numbers right there.
Well, you know what? You know what CMC is? He's everyone's MVP. He's my fantasy MVP, I'll tell you that. Talk about backpacking your boy to a nice fantasy championship. I'm just saying. But, look at us. All
my
having
only
different
problem
answers.
with My only problem with CMC and Saquon is it's been 20 seasons since they've given a running back the comeback player of the year.
Yeah, it's tough for running back.
Me that AP didn't get it?
Yeah, didn't AP get comeback player of the year?
I don't think so.
On
I think
Washington?
the last one was like 20 years ago.
I mean, I know he won the MVP that year, but you're telling me they didn't give him comeback player of the year too?
Was that when he played for Washington?
No, that's when he came back from the torn ACL, put up 2,000 yards, with the Vikings.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I feel like he definitely had to win it. Have to. Well, but we'll move on. We'll move on. And I'm starting off.
That's why we got Google.
Facts. Shout out Google.
Check that out.
Word to Kanye. We'll move on to the coach of the year. Now I'm gonna start it off. I guess. Why not? I'm gonna go with a fellow New Yorker, Mr. Joseph Judge. Give me Hall of Fame. Give me future Hall of Famer Joe Judge, as Michael Kay, the Yankee announcer, says.
Oh,
You know,
and I'm sorry to interrupt.
at least-
I did look up, and they are correct. It has been 20 years since a running back has won a comeback player of the year award.
See, that's out of pocket. That's out of pocket. Is what that is. Who was it?
And in that same year, I believe they said it was Curtis Martin.
See,
I think
just
it
saying
was
that
Garrett
Peterson
Hurd.
won't come back in
I didn't even tell you
2012.
who that is.
No, my bad. I was totally wrong. It was Garrison Hurst, running back from the San Francisco 49ers. In that 2012 year, they gave it to Peyton Manning when he came back when he came back for that neck
That
injury.
makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense.
He was faking it anyway. Crazy. But anyway,
That's
coach of the
Yo,
year,
Alex, you wrong.
yeah.
You
coach
won
of the
MVP.
year, future Hall of Famer Joe Judge, as Michael K says. So I think, listen, I said this yesterday as a little sneaky. Don't sleep on the Giants. I think the Giants, they got an A1 defense. They got Galladay, Evan Ingram. Mr. Saquon is back. Danny Dimes, this is a year to prove it. I think that they're a little, dark horse to win that division. And if they do that, Joe Judge for Coach of the Year. CJ, tell me why I'm right, or who's your pick?
Yeah, Joe Judge, I didn't expect that one. That's a good one. Man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know right now. Let me somebody else go. Let me think.
I got
All right,
this.
Barry, you got it.
I
I
got
was
this.
gonna
Yeah.
say, I got you, but go ahead.
Sean McVay is my guy. I think the Rams are going to have a hell of a season. I think what he's been able to do with Jared Goff throughout the last 3 years has been so understated. The fact that Stafford's coming off a situation where he has just been a Ferrari sitting in Compton at a house that's being foreclosed. At the end of the day, they both have the best situations they've ever had in their career. They're partying together in Cabo. They're having drinks the second that the trade goes down, like it wasn't planned out ahead of time. This is a great situation. They're always a playoff contender. They'll probably win 11 or 12 games this season, the Rams. I think McVay is going to definitely win Coach of the Year, in my opinion.
All right, Matt, tell me who the Coach of the Year is and why is it,
Matt
whoever the
LaFleur.
pack- Yeah,
Matt
why is it Matt
LaFleur? Of
LaFleur?
course. I feel like it's time that Matt LaFleur finally gets recognized as the Coach of the Year. The last 2 years, he's won 13 games. Granted, he's had Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback, but Mike McCarthy was there, and that fat fuck Big Mac only won one Super Bowl, made 8 playoff appearances that did nothing. One bit.
Listen, I respect all fat people coming from one of them.
I mean, he was gifted with Aaron Rodgers, and we had some of the worst offensive stat lines we've seen from 2015 all the way to 2017. We had no idea who the hell Aaron Jones was until Matt LaFleur showed up, because Mike McCarthy had no idea how to utilize them. And we saw it last year in Dallas with how badly they stunk. Granted, Dak Prescott was hurt, but then again, before he got hurt, they were 1-3 and still stinking up the joint. But I feel like with Matt LaFleur, he's won 13 games the last 2 years. He's proven to be a good coach, unless if it's against Tom Brady in the fourth quarter. But I just think it's time that he finally gets recognition. I think Green Bay's on pace for another solid year. Would not be shocked if they're in the 12-14 win range, especially with Rodgers as the quarterback. And I just feel like it's time. A lot of people say, like, well, yeah, when you have Aaron Rodgers, you're supposed to be good. Well, Mike McCarthy had Aaron Rodgers for almost 10 years, and he barely did anything with him. If anything, he was known for choking than winning. Matt LaFleur has been winning the last 2 years with Aaron Rodgers. Granted, we still lose in the NFC Championship game, but that's a Green Bay constant. But I just think with LaFleur there, I think it's time for him to finally get recognized. Third time's a charm, 3rd year's a charm. Matt LaFleur, Coach of the Year, it's time.
Nick, what you got?
I'm going. Talking about finally getting recognized. How about good old McDermott finally getting recognized? He takes the Bills to their first playoff berth in 17 years. His first year as the coach. Takes us to our first division title last year. I mean, what more? What more does this guy got to do? Like,
No, you got a point.
Sean McDermott led the Bills to the playoffs like 2 times the last 3 years. It wasn't the first time in 17 years. He did lead them to their first playoff win since 1995, though. That I can give you.
Yeah. No. That's what I'm saying.
This encyclopedia over here.
I mean, at the end of the day, we had a 16, 17-year playoff drought, and he got us into the playoffs his first year as a head coach. So, I mean, and then he gets us our first division title in X amount of years. So, I mean, I feel like if we win the division again and we get 12, 13 wins this year, I mean, I feel like he's got to be highly favored.
Josh, I need a coach of the year.
Okay, first, Connie, if the New England Patriots end up as a top 10 team, then Bill Belichick will win your coach of the year, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm disappointed that you didn't pick him. But my coach of the year is going to be Brandon Staley with the Chargers.
Nice.
First year head coach. Great chance to make a good run in the playoffs. I think the cards are right for Staley in the year in this offense. I think the Chargers are going to be a team to watch out for.
All right, CJ, did you get it now?
Yeah, I mean, you guys, everybody has some great answers. I'll probably just stick with Staley too. Again, everybody has the Chargers making that run, being that wild card team. He's supposed to be the guy to take them over the hump and at least be competitive with teams like Kansas City. So in that division, so he's defensive minded, but he has some offensive capabilities as well. If he can do that, Herbert year 2. He's definitely going to be in that discussion. But everybody had great candidates. McDermott, he's definitely underrated. Doesn't get a lot of love. So all those candidates are going to be really, really good. Can't wait.
All right, so we got some other ones, but we're gonna go through them a little faster because we still got to predict Week 1 in the NFL season, baby. We got to do a nice little pick'em segment and everything. So I'll start it off. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Come on, I'm going with Mac 10. CJ.
Yeah, I mean. I'm gonna go with Mac. Just set in stone. Has the best opportunity. But sleeper, you could definitely throw Zach Wilson in there too. They probably won't. They'll probably be playing a lot of catch-up football, so they'll be able to get some yards, get some touchdown plays. So I put him as one of my sleepers, but I'm gonna be biased and go with Mac.
Yeah, no, I think Zach Wilson's a really good pick there, actually. But I am going to throw out another one, Najee Harris. I think he's going to see 300 carries this year like a madman. And, even 250 and being involved in the pass game, whatever that may be, I really think he's going to have a hell of a statistical season immediately.
Yeah, you guys make some great points, but it's got to be Mac 10. It's a no-brainer. Once Mac 10 was labeled as QB1 in New England, you kind of knew that he was going to win Rookie of the Year. And then also some people who are into betting are probably thinking, damn, I should have put in, some money on Mac Jones earlier instead of right now, because now his odds are probably dropping to a favorite.
Najee.
All right, Nick.
I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence as the – wait. We're talking offensive Rookie of the Year, right?
Yes,
offensive
sir.
Rookie of the Year.
Okay, all right. Because I was lagging a little bit, so I couldn't really tell. But I'm gonna go Trevor Lawrence for the sheer fact that Mac Jones has to play the Bills twice a year, and we're gonna literally embarrass him to where
Yeah. Okay.
So that's all I have to say on that.
Okay.
Josh, who you got?
Trevor Lawrence has a better offense to work with, in my opinion.
What?
Yeah, that's just my opinion.
It's debatable either way. I don't think it's debatable either way, actually.
Josh, I need your offensive Rookie of the Year.
I'm also going with Trevor Lawrence with Zach Wilson as my backup.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the number 1 overall pick. Why not?
We're going counterclockwise. We're starting with Matt. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh man, Defensive Rookie of the Year. You got a lot of good options, but I'm going to throw out one of the biggest darts out there. I'm going to say, why not? I'm going to go Patrick Surtain of the Denver Broncos. It's been a long time since we've seen a cornerback win Defensive Rookie of the Year. And if I'm Patrick Surtain of the Denver Broncos, I say, why not? This has to be the year to where the Broncos have to make a big step. They're very built, very well defensively. Vic Fangio is going into his possible last year as a head coach, trying to prove his job is on the line. He's a very defensive-oriented kind of coach. Patrick Surtain showed some good flashes in preseason, and he was one of the first corners taken in the draft, obviously before Perry's Dallas Cowboys, which he was probably disappointed in because that secondary really needs some help in Dallas. And I feel like Patrick Surtain as Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'd say why not? Go for it, and I think he's going to shock some. I think he's going to shock some people. Maybe I wouldn't be shocked if he got maybe 5 or 6 interceptions.
Okay.
Yeah, Alex said he put 50 on Surtain to win. So,
Nick, who's your Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I think it's Surtain as well. I really can't say much more about it than what he just said. So I'm gonna just say him.
Go with the flow. That's all
Go
right.
with the flow.
That's all right.
That's right.
Josh?
I'm going to go with Jalen Phillips in Miami. This is one of the big reasons I think that New England's going to struggle week 1. I think that defense, what they're doing in Miami is really good. And this guy's got talent. He's got the play time, and he's got the ability. So give me Jalen Phillips.
Perry, why is it Micah Parsons?
Micah Parsons, it's a great pick. It's a great pick, but I'm actually gonna go Patrick Surtain as well.
Wow!
I do think Parsons would be my second pick. I think he's gonna have a hell of a season. He's the perfect guy for the Cowboys there. Leighton Vander Esch is unfortunately as elite as he is. That the neck and back injuries are just those ones that you'll never be able to get over. And when you're playing as a linebacker and the anchor of your defense, I can't have Sean Lee 2.0 right now. I can't experience that. So I love moving back. Yeah, obviously Matt's right. Who was on their draft board? J.C. Horn and Surtain. Boom, boom, right before. To just sit there and take someone right there and reach a little, that would have pissed me off. The fact that they moved back, grabbed some more draft capital, still were able to go get Surtain. I'm very happy with what happened with the boys, but I do think Surtain's a huge playmaker. I love him. But yeah, I'm not shocked if Parsons wins this at all. Seriously, he's not, like Alex said right there, he's an absolute stud. He's always wanted to be a Cowboy. You can see it when he was a kid. He's got all the stuff there, and it's just one of those great stories you like to hear.
So he's been defiled since birth. Crazy. CJ.
I'm going to go with Jamin Davis, Washington football team, linebacker. Ron Rivera knows a lot about. Yeah, Ron Rivera knows a lot about linebackers, having been one of those guys playing for the Bears back in the 80s. So, he's compared him a little bit to Kuechly in terms of skill set and speed and things of that nature. And a lot of people talk about that front seven in Washington. So they're going to need a guy in the middle to be that quarterback of that defense. And I think if he could come in early and make an impact, he could definitely get some votes and if they could get back to the playoffs again. And again, with that dominant front seven, he could be a big reason because of that. So I'm gonna go with Jamin Davis.
As much as I like to annoy Perry and everybody, I actually did pick Micah Parsons. So
I love you.
So I'm going to stick with that. I picked him yesterday on the show, so I got to stick with it.
He's a stud.
Exactly.
He's good.
The man. That's exactly what they needed. Besides, every single cornerback available in the draft. But Parsons is going to be solid. So I have no complaints over there. We'll switch right over into the Defensive Player of the Year. And let me tell you something. I got you. Don't worry. Put your money on him now. TJ Watt. Because I think he got robbed last year against Aaron Donald. I do think he got robbed. Don't get me wrong. Giving an award to Aaron Donald, you're not really going to get too many complaints. But all I'm saying is I think TJ got robbed. So he's coming back this year. And he's getting an award to add to the Watt family. CJ?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Washington, man. I'm going to go with Chase Young.
Nice.
I think, again, that defense is just so dominant, man. And, looking at that first preseason game against New England and coming off the edge and blasting Cam Newton, that definitely for some fear and some Patriot fans at the time. He looks dominant. It looks like he's improved on his pass rushing moves, not just using the bull rush, looking to, increase his skill set. He's dominant, man. You just think about back in Ohio State when they had both of the Bosa's and him. It's crazy. But TJ Watt, obviously, he's going to be one of those top guys favored to win because, like you said, of the controversy or debate last year whether it should have been him or Donald. But I'm going to go with Chase Young, man. Second year, getting Defensive Rookie of the Year and then getting Defensive Player of the Year. That'll be something for sure.
So I'm going to go with TJ Watt as well. Chase Young, great pick. I wouldn't be shocked to see someone like a Fred Warner really put his name on the map because, that's one guy that I really wouldn't be shocked to see go and win that. He's already become one of, if not the best linebackers in the entire league right now. So, but with that being said, Aaron Donald's name will always be there. I agree with Connie. I mean, statistically, I thought TJ Watt should have won last year as well. And when you put context into it and you're looking at the type of job that they both have, obviously the numbers read a little bit differently. But, I mean, I'm a production-driven man. I'm a guy that looks at a track record of your performance. And whoever stacks up more, you picked your job. You picked the fact that you're a linebacker. You picked the fact that you're a D lineman. So for me, when I'm looking at statistics that are comparable, and it's in Watt's favor, I'm going to go with Watt. But at the end of the day, Donald is the best NFL defender that we've ever seen on the D-line. And his career hasn't ended yet. But it's just like watching LeBron right now on defense where he's still playing. And it's just like, wow, we're not going to appreciate it as much as we should until he does retire. But that's the most dominant force we've ever seen on the defensive line. But, yeah, TJ Watt's a really good pick.
Donald's going to have to get that ring. That's when people will start to appreciate it. Once he gets that championship, then he'll get the love.
Sure.
Why is it Jair Alexander?
I don't think it's gonna be Jair Alexander. I feel like if it was, he'd probably need to have a season like Charles Woodson did way back, probably 2010, 2011, where he was just dominant. I don't think that will happen. I do believe it will be Aaron Donald. I think I want to be shocked if Aaron Donald wins back-to-back. You guys make a great point as well with TJ Watt. Wouldn't be shocked if it was him either, but I just feel like it makes the most sense with Aaron Donald. I mean, this guy gets double-teamed, and he still produces numbers from a defensive tackle standpoint. Like, it's very rare we see those kind of numbers to where Aaron Donald's positioned as a D tackle. Normally, you throw in a D tackle as your biggest guy, just take up space, get tackles. If you get a sack, maybe get like 4 or 5 sacks, bam, you're chilling. But just how dominant he looks, and he doesn't look like he's slowing down at all one bit. And with how good the Rams look, they look like a team where not only can they make the playoffs, they look like a team to where they can make a deep run, possibly even a championship game type of run, for the Rams. Now, will I say make it to Super Bowl? No. It's very hard, when you host the Super Bowl to make it there, unless if you're the GOAT and Tom Brady and you host in Tampa, then you'll show up there. But, this is the Rams. I feel like Aaron Donald, he's the best player on that defense. He's the best defender in the league. Wouldn't be shocked if he goes back-to-back as Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like the only competition for him on that said position will most likely be TJ Watt, and that's about it.
All right, Nick, I need one.
Well, I'm going to go with a sleeper here.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Myles Garrett.
Nice.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
I feel like,
Nice.
That's a good sleeper.
What happened with COVID to him last year really kept him out of like the running for Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, he did have 9 sacks in his first 7 games, which is like, that's ridiculous.
That's out of pocket.
And I feel like he's top 3 defensive ends in the league still. And the Browns bolstered up their defense to a point where I feel like he'll demand less double teams and less attention. I mean, you always gotta account for him, obviously, on defense. But I feel like the Browns have gotten better on defense to where you kind of got to look out for other pieces on that defense where he could excel more and have more opportunities to stat stuff and really like contend for the Defensive Player of the Year.
Josh, why is it Patrick Queen?
I actually did not have Patrick Queen. I actually also have Chase Young winning the award. I think
Nice.
Chase Young is just going to be dominant there. Once again, I go back to the division playing. You're playing in the NFC East, so it just gives you more of a chance to just beat up on some quarterbacks. So I feel really bad for Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott and all the guys over there. So and Jalen Hurts. So it's going to be a tough sledding for them whenever they play Washington. And you got Montez Sweat backing him up, so you can't just double team Chase Young and expect nothing to happen. So you're going to have to put pieces all over, and it spreads it wide open for Chase Young.
Josh, I'm sticking with you for our final award. I need an MVP.
Oh, an MVP? That's easy.
Why is it Lamar? Tell me.
Lamar Jackson. Look, we're going all the way to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Lamar Jackson's gonna have to play his ass off to get there. You're gonna see.
Yeah, he's gonna learn how to
Lamar that we
pass and
saw
not run.
in 2 years, and he's gonna have it, and he's gonna do both, and he's not gonna take hits. I mean, the league 7 years. Lamar Jackson has proved that he can take the hit. Lamar Jackson has proved that he can be the guy, and it's gonna be another one of those years where Lamar Jackson carries a team with a injured wide receiver core to the playoffs. He has a great regular season, and we're going to do great in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson all the way. He's going to use his legs. He's going to look incredible again. Connie, I don't even know why I have to come on the show and keep telling you this. You know,
listen, I have to ask. I have to do my reporter duty of asking. I knew the answer. I said it with you. We said it in sync.
Well, no, I just want Lamar Jackson to be able to get to the point where you can agree with me that he should be the one winning that award. I mean, what's he got to do for you, Connie?
He already won the MVP.
Listen,
Jesus.
He did, and as Connie mentioned, he did reach his peak.
Listen, Lamar's not even a top 5 quarterback, so I don't want to get into that. Okay.
Talking about an award he's already won, and you're giving him hate like that. That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
absolutely.
saying.
And I continue.
And he said that he already reached his peak.
He has reached his peak. He will never
imagine.
He will never be that good ever again. But anyway, Nick,
And even if he's 3/4 that good, he'd probably still win the MVP. That's how dominant he was that season, Connie. He doesn't have to be that good every year. Pick better somebody else.
Nick, why is it Josh Allen?
Why is it Josh Allen? Wow. One, we have the same offensive coordinator coming back. Big Brian Daboll coming back. He's obviously could have been a head coach this year on multiple teams. He decided to stay home with my boy Blue, 17. Our offensive line pretty much all of our offensive starters have returned pretty much. We replaced John Brown with Emmanuel Sanders, which I feel like is an upgrade because obviously John Brown got snipped from the Raiders, and that looked like a good move for us. And obviously he finished second last year. He was a dark horse MVP candidate for me last year. Everyone didn't want to hear that from me, and look at that. And so now is just his time to really just get it, bro. Like, honestly, I have all the confidence in Josh Allen in the world. Like, it could be 3rd and 20, 3rd and 1. He's going to figure out a way to get the first down. His throw on the run, what he's able to do with his legs, like, and he's literally progressed every year. I feel like this is his year to finally get the MVP, solidify himself. And that's it.
Matt, you're another person I don't really have to ask, but let's go.
Let's see, who do I think is going to win MVP? Well, it's not going to be Rodgers. He won. He won his MVP last year.
Listen, no, hold on. Somebody get the National Guard on the phone. It's going to start snowing. There's a blizzard coming. Matt did not just pick Aaron Rodgers for the MVP.
He won his MVP last year. That was the 3rd MVP last year. If he wins another one this year, that's fantastic because that means we either A, lost another NFC Championship game, or B, we're in Super Bowl 56. So either way, hey, don't say that. Don't say that.
No MVP has won a Super Bowl recently. Recently, I should say.
That is true. So hopefully he doesn't win MVP this year. But a player that I do see winning MVP this year, I love that Nick mentioned Josh Allen because he has a fantastic chance to win it. But I feel like it's as much as it's being like just realistic, I feel like it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I feel like he's going to have a bounce back year. He had a somewhat of a called down year, yet he still made it all the way to the Super Bowl. And he's only getting better. And I feel like out of all the players, I feel like it's a select few that you can name that has a chance to win MVP. I feel like Mahomes is up there. Josh Allen is up there. I mean, a lot of players are up there to win MVP, but I just feel like out of that whole selection, all the options, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes just because I feel like with the realistic chance, would not be shocked if the Chiefs make it to yet another Super Bowl. They pretty much bring back most of the same team. They revamp the offensive line. Getting Orlando Brown from the Baltimore Ravens is huge to help bolster up that offensive line. And I feel like the Chiefs are going to be a team that's going to bounce back. I feel like they got humbled in the Super Bowl against Tampa. And, hopefully the Chiefs aren't like the Seahawks where they make it to 2 straight Super Bowls and then wet the bed the rest of the playoffs.
So I have Josh Allen personally. Like, I see what you mean about Mahomes, but I feel like there's too many mouths to feed there too. I feel like he's made the playoffs. He made the Super Bowl last year. It wasn't him that made the Super Bowl last year only. Like, that is Andy Reid. That is that coaching team. Like, that is that team. I will say Mahomes is getting a weird amount of hate for being as amazing as he is, but that's probably mainly from a fantasy perspective in certain regards. But I mean, Josh Allen has everything that you could ask for right now, mainly because he doesn't have a running back that can do anything. So those stats are going to go to him. He's going to be the leading rusher again on this team. He's going to throw for at least 5,000 yards. He has a chance to throw for 6 with Daboll back there. So Josh Allen's going to put up the craziest statistical season this year, and he's the most complete quarterback in the league when it comes to running, throwing at this point now. It's going to constantly change, and I think that's the thing with Lamar. Like, I think he gets too much hate on his passing ability as well. Is he as good of a passer as Josh Allen? No way. But
Negative.
I mean, Lamar absolutely is a good passer, but that's why he's not the most complete guy in the game. It's because I think Josh Allen's got enough speed, he's got enough accuracy, and his throwing power and decision making is starting to become like elite beyond question. So, I mean, I think the Bills are going to be super good. They're going to win the division. I don't even want to hear this Patriots love. Like, they're winning the division. Patriots can maybe make it on a wild card bid, but the Bills have shown that they are going to be a perennial contender until a lot of things change with that roster or coaching staff. They're well set.
I'm gonna go with Russell Wilson.
Okay, my boy.
I like it.
First 8 weeks last year, he looked like the clear-cut guy. Everybody, had him winning the MVP, dangerous, let him cook. All those slogans were going around, and then the back half, he kind of dropped off a little bit. I think they improved that offensive line. They got Dwayne Brown, finally. Looks like he's locked in, ready to go for week 1. Brought in Gabe Jackson from Las Vegas. Brought in Gerald Everett as well as a tight end option for him. They still got some weapons. You still got Metcalf, continuing to get better. Tyler Lockett, one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL. So, I think Russell's gonna be motivated in a tough division. He's still the best quarterback in that division, and I think he's gonna show why and get that award. You could maybe go with Stafford too, but I think Russell, his ability to like similar to what Perry said with Josh Allen, being able to run the football and throw the football in the pocket, one of the best to ever do it. So
100%.
I think this is his time to get that award, and I think he's going to put up some big numbers and try to get the Seahawks back in the playoffs. So hopefully Super Bowl potential.
Listen, I could go with the very easy option here, but I'm going to stick.
You go with Tom, right? You go with Tom?
You're going with what's Annapolis, right?
The option?
Switch it up, bro. Switch it up.
I want to go with Tom so bad, but you know what?
Wentz for MVP is
I'm
back?
going with Wentz Annapolis.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
That's my boy.
Listen, I claimed it last year, and all the negative energy came down upon me. Not this year, though. Not this year, baby. Wentz Annapolis got a brand new O-line that actually knows how to block. Unlike last year, he's got some. He's got some nice. Oh, Wentz Annapolis, absolutely.
Oh my God,
Wentz VP, WVP. They're renaming the award. So listen, let me tell you. I'm just saying he's got a great O line now. That running game, he's going to play off the play action. It's going to be an unbelievable year. 35 touchdowns, like 6 interceptions, like 400 rushing yards. It's going to be
400 rushing yards?
Yeah, Wentz is getting out of the pocket.
Yikes!
Wow. That's a hot
people.
I don't know what's gonna stop him again, man. The packet more. His knee history, his ankle, or the coming off COVID.
Listen,
or coming off COVID. I'm not sure which one it's gonna be.
Year, Indianapolis won't even know who Peyton Manning is.
Whoa. Okay.
This guy's crazy, bro.
Hey.
We're looking for clicks.
Connie,
they're gonna mix up Peyton and Eli by the end of the year.
I'm sure.
No. Connie, I said some wild things here on this show. That has to be the wildest thing I have ever heard come out of your mouth.
Pennsylvania.
Kanye Smith.
It's not Pennsylvania. It's Wentz Annapolis.
Oh yeah, Wentz Annapolis. I'm sorry, I forgot.
That's crazy.
New team. But you know what? Hey, we're gonna find out, aren't we? Because if I'm right, let me tell you something. Nobody will ever hear the end of it, ever.
No, we're gonna hear a Connie chat every day say Wentz VP.
I won't even entertain it because it's so out of the question.
Hey, it's not too far of the equation, Perry. He's reuniting with Frank Reich.
And
Let's
so
do
we're talking
2017.
an MVP. They're a run first team. They're a run first
Listen,
team. Let's
he
get
almost
outta
won
here.
the MVP a few years ago. He should
They
have.
almost won the
Jonathan
MVP.
Taylor has a better chance of winning MVP than Wentz does
The
this year.
disrespect.
Jonathan Taylor has a
This
better
isn't
chance of
Dak.
winning it
Calm
this year.
down. Anyway, let's go to week 1 of the
That made my
NFL
head hurt.
season.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, Mr. Lamar Jackson is the
That's
greatest
like-
thing since sliced bread. I don't want to hear it from you, okay?
That was like that was a sauna take. Like I'm sweating out of my body right now.
Listen, you know what? You got to be bold in life, you boring people. Gosh, go be adventurous in life. Stop eating Cheerios every day. Try some Lucky Charms.
Why not Honey Nut
I like
Cheerios
Reese's
instead?
Puffs.
Yo, Reese's Puffs for the win, bro. By the way, if you eat Cheerios
Oh.
just plain, you're a sociopath. Just saying. But the week 1 NFL schedule is here, people. And I want to know, listen, question at the top right there. I want to know what game you are most excited about. I'm just going to go down the list right here. CJ, what you got your eyes on?
I don't want to be biased. So
You be biased, bro.
I'm looking at Browns Chiefs. I think that's a great matchup. You know, 2 of the best rosters in the NFL. You know, big like I talked about earlier with my comeback player of the year prediction, getting a guy like OBJ back into the fold. We know what the Chiefs could do. Matt made some good points about the Chiefs. You know, fixing that O-line after that debacle in Super Bowl 55. They got some dogs up front now to protect 15. So, and Baker, you know, a lot of people, you know, Baker wants to get that bag. He wants to get that extension, you know, so he could really solidify himself as that franchise guy for Cleveland. So I think it'll be a good kickstart for them to get a W against the reigning AFC champions. I think that's a great game. That's a great game right there. I'll let my other co-hosts, other guests, give some options. But yeah, I think that's one that sticks out to me the most.
I got my eye on a few here. I mean, I know you said you're biased. I mean, that Patriots-Dolphins game is very intriguing. I'm very interested in that game. I really like the divisional matchup. I love the defense the Dolphins have. Patriots have a lot of returning players. They have Mac Jones starting. There's a lot of storylines here. You know, it's great. You have the Brian Flores and Bill Belichick connection. It's a whole 9 yards. So that's a great game in my opinion. I think Seahawks and Colts is going to be awesome. I'm super excited for that game, if I'm being honest. And the other game that really intrigues me here is Chargers and Washington, really. You know, it's just defense versus offense for me there. And I think Washington's going to have a good season. I think the Chargers are going to have a good season. I'm very intrigued to see a lot of the new pieces for Washington stepping in and, you know, Curtis Samuel and Fitzpatrick. And it's going to be fun. But, yeah, I definitely think out of those 3, probably Seahawks and Colts. That one would probably be my pick there. I think the Jags and Houston, I could smell that game from here. That's disgusting.
Yeah, nobody's watching that, man.
That's absolutely horrific.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. As much as I want to be a homer and say Packers Saints is a game I'm looking forward to, I feel like there's actually a more entertaining to look forward to. I'm going with the Cardinals and the Titans.
Nice.
Both teams who have gone through a lot of changes in the offseason. Tennessee adding Julio Jones to the offense. You got Mr. 2,000-yard rusher King Henry. You got A.J. Brown there. You got Ryan Tannehill. And then on top of that with the Cardinals, adding on J.J. Watt, Cliff Kingsbury, he's possibly on the hot seat this year. You got Kyler Murray, who we've seen a lot of QBs in that third year kind of make that progression. We saw Josh Allen do it last year from year 2 to year 3, just turn into a bona fide MVP candidate. Can Kyler Murray do the same thing? And you look at the Arizona Cardinals, they're in the toughest division in all of football. You can't afford to have a bad week, or else one bad week and bam, you could be out of the playoffs, out of the division conversation. So I'm looking forward to that Cardinals-Titans matchup to see who looks good. And obviously the Green Bay Packers versus New Orleans Saints, just to see how Jameis Crablegs Winston looks, Mr. 30 for 30 after LASIK eye surgery.
Jinston, some would call him.
Yeah, Weymouth Jimston, as some people would call. I wanted to see how good he looks. And also for the Green Bay Packers, if this is Rodgers' last ride, how's the team look? How we looking? Getting Randall Cobb back. It's going to be good to see him at 18. Number 18 in uniform, and see what the Packers defense looks like. They have a new D coordinator this year. maybe Zadarius Smith is on a comeback trail. We'll see what happens there. And, those are just some of the games that I'm looking forward to.
Mr. Nick, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, I feel like I've been biased most of this podcast. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys versus the Buccaneers.
I love it.
For the simple fact that it's Dak's first game coming back, and he's facing a very tough defense in the reigning Super Bowl champs. So I'm just excited to see what he could do offensively. How mobile he could be after that injury, how his pocket awareness, everything. So that's an exciting matchup to watch for sure.
Josh. Oh, you're muted, guy. Come on, rookie mistake out here. This is just unbelievable.
Mistake.
Looking like Lamar out there.
2021, and I'm still muting the mic. Jesus. All right, so there are a few that I'm looking at. I like Perry, the Chargers of Washington. Looks like a really good game. I'm excited to see what Justin Herbert is going to do coming out playing against a very tough defense. I'm excited for that game. Atlanta and Philadelphia, I think it's going to be a great game. I want to see if Calvin Ridley can truly just go ahead and start the year off right against the terrible defense of Philadelphia. But I'm also excited to see Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith, see what they can do. Nobody wants to watch Miles Sanders. So the game that
it's so true. Nobody likes Miles Sanders. Jeez.
He just falls everywhere. The game I'm most excited for, and you guys are probably going to laugh, it's probably the Chicago Bears and Los Angeles Rams. I'm actually very excited to see Matthew Stafford with the Rams and to see what this offense is going to look like against the not terrible defense in Chicago. And then I'm also excited to see if Andy Dalton can put together anything against a great defense in Los Angeles. But I'm more excited to see David Montgomery play and see how far he can take this against a good defense. So I think it's going to be a well-battled game, and I'm excited for it.
Well, you know what? I think I'm going to pick the two games that nobody cares about, but I'm still intrigued by them. Listen, the Jets and Carolina, you got the whole Sam Darnold situation. Obviously, he's starting against his former team. Zach Wilson, how is he actually going to be? Because, you got people like Tony Romo out here saying he's going to be a top 3 quarterback in the league in the next couple of years. So I got to see what Mr. Tony Romo's talking about. Got to see if Zach Wilson is really all that. The return of CMC, obviously. Like I already said, the Sam Darnold storyline. I'm excited. Robert Saleh's making his head coaching debut. I mean, hey, that's an intriguing matchup. And then you know what? It is the toilet bowl of week 1. But I'll go over to the Jags and Texans. And the reason for that is I don't care about the Texans, but Trevor Lawrence is playing. I want to see if Mr. Trevor Lawrence can get a win in his first game. I believe first-round quarterbacks are 0-9 in their last first starts or opening day starts. So I want to see, if Mr. TL can put together a nice game. Obviously, they got Marvin Jones over there now. They still got DJ Chark, James Robinson with Etienne going down with the injury. Urban Meyer with his pro coaching debut. So there's some interesting storylines all over the place. And I want to end the show with this, people. Now, I didn't prepare anybody for it, and that's the whole point of it. I want zero explanation, none, not a single word other than what I'm asking. I need a hot take for this NFL season. No explanation for it, just something you think is going to happen. CJ, you got one, or you need some time?
Yeah, let me get some time.
All right, Josh, you look like you're plotting over there.
I'm ready.
Okay, all right, we'll start with Nick.
The Patriots are not going to make the playoffs.
Okay, listen, I said no explanations, so that's fine with me. Perry, you got one?
I'll end it with the bias,
Ooh, I got one.
Okay, Cheese, let me hear it.
Giants will finish last in the NFC East.
Wow. Okay. Perry, Josh, CJ?
I'll say there'll be 3 teams from the AFC North and 3 teams from the NFC as well, with Rams, Cardinals, and Seahawks. So 2 divisions, 3 playoff teams.
No Niners. Interesting. Josh?
Hot take. Give me 1 second.
CJ, you got one.
Obviously, if my guys don't get there, I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with the Browns beating the Chiefs in the AFC Conference Championship game.
Ooh, spicy.
Spicy, sizzling.
All right,
Josh?
I'll take. Let's go with. Justin Herbert wins MVP.
Oh,
Yeah, no one said Herbert yet, surprisingly.
My hot take: Baker Mayfield throws for 35 touchdowns.
Wow.
Wow.
This guy thinks he's Josh Allen or something.
is that does that count handing the ball off to Chubb?
Oh no, 35 touchdown passes. Well, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank everybody for joining the show.
Well,
Obviously,
did Nick deliver a hot take?
oh yeah, Nick did. He said the Pats aren't making the playoffs.
Yeah, that was. I don't know if that's much of a hot take, but
I mean, it is to me. That's boiling water right there. That's
The crazy
melting
thing is,
pot
I thought
hot.
the same thing. Whenever he said it, I was like, "Is that a hot take?" I feel like that's pretty standard. But
I feel the same thing too.
Well, listen, Nick, you got another one that's spicy or what?
Let's see, man.
yeah, because that's not so spicy. Nah, it's spicy enough. We'll leave it there.
All righty, Perry, tell them about my bookie.
You guys got to gamble on my bookie with NFL season coming up. We got all types of lines. They are boosting picks for players, pretty much just giving out free money to get you on there. And by us incentivizing you to double your first deposit with Unwrapped Sports, there's no question about it. You got to go join. You can do $45 at the minimum, so you don't got to go pull the whole bankroll. Go put that in. We'll double that deposit. Go use code USN100. USN100 when you sign up, and we're going to double that money. It also gives you an extra bonus sign up. I believe that's $15 of extra play as well. So USN100, throw in $45, throw in $1,000, however much you want, Matt. We got you. Go sign up at the best bookie there is, mybookie.ag, code USN100.
Yes, sir. Yeah, for all of our other things, obviously you can see it down below on the ticker, but RxHemp-USN will save you 10% on your entire order. They got the hot and cold CBD creams over there. So, as I've always said, if you're a little sore from life, go over there, check them out. Listen, CJ, people are sore out here, Listen, my fat self got to walk around college campuses all the time. My legs are getting there, bro. Unbelievable. Whoever made college an outdoor activity, I hate you, by the way. For all people overweight out there, you're a terrible person. Teespring.com/store/unwrapped. All of our merch is over there. And then obviously the Patreon, patreon.com/unwrapped sports. $1, you're supporting the squad. $5, you get access to Discord. 10% off the no. Is it? Yeah.
10% off the store.
Yeah, it's 10% off the store. And then entered into an Amazon gift card giveaway. And then the $10 tier is everything I just said, except the 10% goes to 20, and bam.
Also, I just want to thank everyone who's signed up for the Patreon so far. It's been amazing with the free fantasy draft we just did for everybody too. Gonna have a big prize at the end. That's all free. Perks. You get the Discord, you get the good vibes from Unwrapped. But I just want to thank everyone that's signed up so far, because we got such a cool little community in there, and it's pretty new and we're still growing, but a lot of support from some great people. So we really appreciate that, guys.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate everybody coming on the show. So, of course, I'll let everybody do their little promo to end it off here. Matt, we'll start with you. We'll go around the table as we usually do. I'll finish it out. But, Matt, go ahead.
All right. Well, my Twitter handle is at Matt_Skura. Instagram at Matt_Skura20. In each of those profiles, I have a link tree in the bio for my sports podcast me and my great friend Caleb Conant do, called MCS Real Sports Podcast. We got an episode coming up soon this week. And to find that, you could find it everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it. It's available everywhere to check out on. And as always, Anthony and CJ, it is a pleasure to be on the Hard Count to talk football. And I am definitely excited for week 1 coming up around the corner in just 2 days.
Yes, sir.
Nick, what you got?
Appreciate y'all for having me as always. Always happy to be a guest on this show. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at PROD Caviar. I make beats. I make food. I cook. I'm working on a segment called Beats and Eats where I incorporate cooking.
Oh, nice.
Hey?
I like the
making
name.
beats all in
Beats
one.
and Eats.
I
Yeah,
like the
be on
name.
the lookout for it. Follow me.
Josh?
Guys, thanks for having me on. I love coming on the show, especially whenever I get to trash Josh Allen and then the Patriots. I know two separate things. I love trashing them both just because of Connie. You can follow me on all social media at jkeaton022. TikTok even. I think my butt is now famous on TikTok from a dance I did at Yellowstone this weekend, so go check me out on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everything at jkeaton022. Check out the podcast, Burst Your Bubble, everywhere you get your podcast, on Twitter at SportsBYBP. Once again, guys, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate all the info that you guys always give, and I love seeing all the hot takes, especially hearing that I'm not the only one that doesn't think the Patriots are going to not make the playoffs. So
This guy.
Yes, sir.
Perry?
You can find me at Perry Aston on Twitter, Unwrap Sports. Please follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Go like our Facebook page. Go subscribe to our YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're everywhere. So please go check out Unwrap Sports and sign up for that Patreon. We really appreciate that support. But yeah, it's going to be a great football season. Boys, thank you for putting together a great show and having us on as well. And for everything that everybody does on this panel here, and Nick, thank you for coming on. It's good to finally meet you. And
You as well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And thank you for everyone for all your support. That's all I could say. I'm very grateful.
Yes, sir. You can find me on Twitter at cjames9_, Instagram cj.james9, Garda Podcast at Garda Pod on IG, gaming page on Twitch, CJ versus the World.
Playmaker.
Gaming page on IG as well, CJ versus the World 9. Streaming a lot more. 2K22 is about to come out. Madden's about to come out. Madden's already out, so I'm going to be streaming there as well. So you can look for me there, and also you can find me here on Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern with my guy Connie.
Yes, sir. As for me, you guys know what it is by now. Obviously, CJ just said it. Football's back, so me and CJ are full blast going hard count. Tuesdays, 9 Eastern, covering everything in the football world. Monday, 7 Eastern, me and my boy Josh, your Generational Sports, covering a little bit of everything. And then Thursday is Backstop Banter with me and Michael, where we do everything in the baseball world over there. You can catch me on Twitter, Anthony Conover _ Gen Z Sports for the podcast as well. Anthony _ Conover on Twitch as well. I put all the podcasts on there. Got to get back into the gaming scene. I got to. But for now, all the pods are going up on there. But like I already said, CJ, I'll see you next week. I appreciate everybody coming on the show. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And people, it is football season. Screw Christmas. It's the most wonderful time of the year. So we will see, me and CJ will see everybody next week. I appreciate everybody tuning in. You guys.